MCA Countdown number 5. Solving and graphing the following inequalities. All right, so review from before, just trying to get the letter by itself. So dividing this by -4 and dividing this by -4. Everything is the same as before when you're solving the one-step equations. But the one thing we always keep track of in inequalities is if we divide by a negative, we flip your symbol. So this is n is less than or equal to -6. So if this was 0, -6 is down here somewhere. So I'm going to be filled in. So I could also be directly on -6 and going less than that, so going to the left. Over here, got a couple options. One thing I can distribute right away to get 3x plus 15 is less than 12, and subtract 15 from both sides. 3x is less than -3. Divide by 3, divide by 3, and left with x is less than -1. So this is 0, this is -1, open on -1 because I can't be directly on that. It has to be less than -1, and going to the left because it is less than. The other option, I could have actually from the beginning divided both sides by 3 and just gotten x plus 5 is less than 4 and then get the same result. Convert the following linear equation into standard form. Okay. So one thing that we didn't talk about much before with standard form is that not only do you want your x and y's on the same side, we can actually already rule out a and b. The reason for that would be is that your coefficients are supposed to be whole numbers for standard form. So since we have a 3/2 for these, that shouldn't happen. It should be a whole number option. So like C and D are your best options here for standard form. The first thing we want to do then is to distribute. So -3/2x and -3/2 times -2. These cancel. Negative times negative is positive, so plus 3. Now y minus 5 equals -3/2x plus 3. All right, now we want to get your x and y together on the same side. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to move this over here. So I'm going to add 3/2x to both sides. And then I'm going to move this over here. So add 5 to both sides. So now I've got 3/2x plus y equals 8. And that's why A is actually your trap question, that it looks like you're done, but technically you're not. You need to get these all to be a whole number answer. So by doing that, we can multiply this by 2. That will get rid of your fraction. Multiply the right by 2 as well too. So these cancel, left with 3x. Distribute the 2 times 2y equals 16. So that answer is actually going to be C. Classifying rational versus irrational. So it's just remember to point out that irrational are really only two things. It's going to be pi. So this is one that's for sure irrational. The other ones are the square roots of non-perfect squares. So this one also is going to be, because nothing multiplied by itself will give you 23. It is not a perfect square, but 121 is, because 11 times 11 is 121. So that means everything else on the screen or on your paper is going to be rational. That's rational. That's rational. It can be a fraction or a decimal. This is kind of a trick question because it's such a long decimal here, but if it was ... it goes on forever. That's not the case. It stopped at the 1, so it actually terminates. It's rational. Terminating, rational. Improper fractions, still rational. It can still be written as a fraction. Negatives doesn't matter. 0 is rational. Negatives and terminating decimals will always be rational. So it's just picking out what is irrational, pi, and non-perfect square roots. Next one. and sells bracelets for $4. Looking down below, this is bracelets are X. So 4 times X. And then necklaces are Y's. So 8 times Y. So we know it's going to be 4X plus 8Y. Now, she wants to make at least $100. So keep in mind, this is her goal. This is what she's making. So think about possible answers that are possible amounts of money she could make. If she made $12, did she make her goal? No. If she made $1,200, did she meet her goal? Yes. This is where she's going to make her money, over here. So we want this amount over here to be greater than 100, or she could be happy with at least 100, so it's going to be equal to that. So notice they all have the same 4, 8, and 10, 100. So 4x plus 8y. These ones are for sure out. And then it's going to be B, what you're looking for. All right, 2 solutions. We know that this is going to always end up being positive, but it could have been positive or negative to start off with. So we need our 2 possibilities. 3x plus 3 equals 18. That's the positive option. Or 3x plus 8 plus 3 equals negative 18. So subtract 3 on both sides. You get 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals 5. Minus 3, 3x equals negative 21. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals negative 7. So your 2 solutions would be 5 and negative 7. Distance. We mentioned this before here. Now it's on your formula sheet. So we're doing this formula. We are finding the difference of your x values squared plus the difference of your y values squared. So my x values, I've got 5 and negative 2. So negative 2 minus 5. I'm going to square that. And then my y values, I've got 8 minus 3. I'm going to square that. So negative 2 minus 5, that's 7 units apart. So 7 squared. Plus 8 minus 3, that's 5 units apart. Negative 7 times negative 7 is going to be 49, plus 5 times 5 would be 25. So 49 plus 25 would be 74. Now I just do the square root of 74, and that would be my answer. If they are looking for, it might just be your final answer, which is, that's all it is in this case. So D is what we're looking for. And that is all.